Hi, I'm Kila.
And I'm Ashley.
And we met on TikTok when our stories collided.
After we discussed our crazy, people wanted to tell us they're crazy.
So join us as we unpack a whole lot of crazy.
And we named this podcast after the one thing we definitely have in common, raising our mamas.
So welcome to Raising Barbara Jean and Wanda.
Warning, following episode is intended for mature audiences only. It contains graphic descriptions, adult dialogue, and strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
We talk about dramatic shit.
Hey, my name is Brian Nell. I'm a mortgage loan officer with Primis Mortgage. I want to tell you that I absolutely love being a member of the Spread the Positive Network. It's such a great mission and so much positivity to our community. It's truly be a pleasure to be a part of what they do. There are a lot of ways to navigate financing a home, and in markets like this, having the advice of a trusted local professional is key to making sure you get the right advice for your specific circumstances. Whether you're interested in the purchase of a new home, second home, or have a need for a refinance, I'd love to earn your trust. If I can help you nail your mortgage, call me at 615-243-3976 or visit nailyourmortgage.com.
Primis Mortgage is a subsidiary of Primis Bank, a member FDIC, equal housing opportunity. As always, all loans are subject to approval. Primis Mortgage, NMLS number 1894879.
Hey y'all. Okay, sorry that we've left y'all hanging. There's been we've had deaths in the family. We've had sickness, weather, but we're back with the Music City Dirty John, basically.
People be calling.
It's actually Music City Dirty Daniel.
Dirty Daniel.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we got to give him a new name.
We heard
he's an entity himself.
Exactly. we heard Jess's what was huge and monumental. That ain't even a drop in the bucket compared to what's happened since then. Holy shit, people have come out of the woodwork. And so, actually, it's probably a good thing that we did wait 3 weeks to build all this shit up because
I've gotten texts or messages from people that I don't know. You've gotten messages from people you don't know.
Yes.
Your phone blows up constantly.
It's nonstop. I feel like I have carpal tunnel.
I was going to say, Jess probably had to take a leave of absence from her job because she had this is a full-time job. And now we have Janene here, which is Jess's friend.
Janene. Yes. Hello.
Well, she met Jess and Daniel at the same time.
Huh?
Angle the mic.
Angle the mic.
Is that better?
Yeah, she met them at the same time. So she was Daniel and Jess's friend. And holy shit.
Yeah.
Jessica and I had lunch with friends of mine who are obsessed with her story.
Yeah.
This week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
Yes. And we are going to kind of go back because we want to touch on some things where we've had comments. First of all, how did you and Janene meet? Y'all tell your...
I'll let Janene
Yeah, that's an interesting story. Janene, tell us the story.
I was just telling the story. So my husband and I went to Chop House for dinner. And usually we'll sit at the bar because it's easy, So we went and sat down, and it was, obviously we didn't know them yet, but Daniel, Stephanie, and Jessica next to us. We were talking, and I was telling you that I saw that, Daniel kept looking at us like he wanted to dive into our conversation, and eventually he did, and we kind of started talking.
Oh, were y'all talking about money?
We were talking about actually traveling business. All the things. And then before you knew it, he was talking to us, and then we were all talking, and we just connected, and we connected because we own a plumbing company. He's a unlicensed contractor.
Quote unquote contractor.
Listen, let's just be real because it makes me laugh. The people, I was talking to Jessica about how he's taken on her
persona.
Yes, because she builds houses and is a realtor. Right. Now he can't even fucking build Legos.
He's a chameleon. He's going to be whatever he's around.
Yeah. Exactly. And he, so they were jiving on that, and she's a realtor, and I always think business when we're out. I'm like, we meet people for a reason, right? I was like, listen, we own a company. He's always looking to grow, I said, and we could build friendships, and they like to travel. We like to travel. They have a lot of free time. We have a lot of free. So it just all kind of works. So we exchanged numbers. We immediately started hanging out. We went to dinner. We went to a comedy show. All these things. Then we planned a trip to Cancun, and in the midst of all that, I learned about the drain story from him.
When he was paralyzed,
Yeah,
not
when he
even
fell down the drain.
20 million
I heard
or-
that story again when
It
we
was
were on
20
our
million,
trip.
10 million. It's
Yeah.
been a different,
Yeah.
a bunch of different
And you know,
numbers.
looking back, he would only tell us those stories when like Jessica would leave the room, or
Right,
go to
because he could
bathroom or
add,
something.
embellish.
Yeah, and he can't. Or if she walked up, she'd be like,
She couldn't call him out on it.
you know,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, what are you're telling him? Oh, that story. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then we went to fly back home, and only 3 of us made it back to Nashville.
Yes, because the story
So
that
what
Jess
did y'all
told.
think? So you're coming back through Miami, right?
Uh-huh.
And he gets detained, and y'all are like, "What the hell kind of
Yeah.
people are we with?" Because I would be
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I'm
What's
like,
in my
I
bag?
watch
I
a
need to
lot
look
of
at my-
IGTV,
Well, no.
and I'm just
I mean, you're
like,
probably
I didn't
thinking-
die on this trip. I'm still alive, so that clearly they're not murderers.
Well, I mean, that's the limp
This
one.
thing-
Oh, hell.
Oh, I got a limpy.
"Don't you hate when it happens?"
Yeah, I hate when it's limpy.
Wah, wah, wah.
Limpy in my lap.
No, they're probably thinking what, because he's
No, it's good.
always like, no, I'm being wrongfully accused. It was a mistake, because he said that he told you that whenever he got detained that it was it was an accident or
Oh
something
yeah, it was a
confused.
Right.
it was a
But
misunderstanding.
Not really knowing them and coming out
Yeah.
to travel with these people, I would be like, "He's the damn cartel.
Well, you
He's
would
got
because-
drugs. What are you putting up in my bag?"
You would, because you're
Right?
Wanda's.
Yes.
You're Wanda's kid, but most people will be like,
That is true.
Most people will be like,
So my
oh my
head goes.
gosh, they're totally,
Right.
because he's mixed, y'all,
Right.
yeah, you're like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
totally gotta
I'm
be what
like, I don't know. We haven't been friends that long. And,
Right.
I mean, I think you would be friends with somebody a little bit longer before they're going to start telling you that they're part of the drug cartel or
Right. Well,
something
true.
like that,
Yeah.
So, but I knew when she made it back to us that like something wasn't right, and she was trying to hold back.
Now, did you ever see any like in Cancun or any
hindsight's 2020.
like
so
where you thought it's like he'll be mean to her, or you like
So the thing
like red
about
flags, I guess, with
Yeah,
her?
I mean the thing about Daniel, and we've talked about, is he's a person's person. Like you could hang out with him and you could have fun with him. He makes you laugh. He's funny. He's, bats his blue eyes or green eyes or whatever the hell they are, and like just thinks he wins everybody over, and he's a little bit of a showboater. But somebody like me, or even my husband, I'm like, it's fine. That might work on other people, and we'll just listen. Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, you fell in drain. You got your millions. Okay. Yeah, cool.
right.
Like, I don't need
Hell
to
yeah.
see the bank statements. I
Right.
don't care, and I just went along with it. And then, when we got off the plane and then she started to divulge a little bit of stuff, he was more worried about her even telling us anything and putting her in a position to where she's like, I'm right home with these people, or,
Right.
or they're taking me to my car
Right.
because you're not here.
Right.
And like, there's only so much I can,
You got more to worry about being shackled and chained versus what
Yeah.
they think of you.
Yeah.
Well, but when he got detained at the airport in Miami, I didn't know why he was being detained. He said that he had no idea why he was being arrested. We
Right.
just knew he had a warrant. So he was telling me to tell them, just
Tell them it's nothing.
it's nothing.
Yeah.
They've got to run.
What did somebody tell me the other day? We were talking about this, and they said, well, that's what like hundreds of thousands of people say while they're in jail.
Right.
They have no idea why they're
But
there.
you were
And I
actually
was like,
smart enough, and you
that is
said,
true.
no, they have to tell you why you're being detained.
Right,
Because
right.
you were smart enough to go,
Because as soon as I got back, I found a lawyer.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, and we played a little detective, and she was looking. Once we got her to her car, she was looking and driving, and Ronnie was driving, so I was passenger, and we're Googling, looking up Florida, and then that's when I think she found his mugshot, and then we saw it was a warrant.
Right.
And I was like, okay, this is not just, oh, you didn't pay your cell phone bill
Right.
for a year.
Right.
Or something like
Yeah.
that. Like, this is big.
Yeah.
And
because
they-
it was in Tennessee, right? The warrant was.
yes.
And they detained him
in Miami.
Yeah, because
And a
usually
lot of-
they don't do that.
Right. And a
flagged?
lot of people had asked me too, like, why didn't they pick him up on the way out? What if he was a flight risk? I'm like, well, they're taking their chances, I would assume, or seeing that there was, multiple people were going. If he's fleeing the country, he's not going with his girlfriend
Right.
and friends.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, it just all of it from top to bottom. And it's really just been an absolute like wild ride since then. I mean, the stories, the more she found out, we all found out. I mean, we didn't know a lot of things up until that point. And Ronnie had a lot of words with him. I kind of stayed in the back because he kept me on Facebook. So I was like, well, let me just
we're not going to say, yeah.
You know, I'm not going to say nothing. And then eventually I couldn't keep my mouth shut. And I sent him a big old long text and he just didn't respond to me because I'll read that on our podcast one of these days. I got zero response from him. And then he blocked me. And then he goes to her and says, you know, he never did anything to me. He doesn't understand what my problem is and all that stuff. I'm like, well, you did it to her. And you really lied to us about all the things. And my husband almost did some business with you.
And you're just a shitty person. Yeah. Like, you're just shitty.
Yeah, sorry. You didn't have to do anything to me. You did enough to enough other people.
But you were trying to do something to me.
Yeah, you would have.
Had he given opportunity. Yeah. I mean, I only got, 5 months of friendship out of him. But he had already been trying before. And even when Ronnie was like... He would actually use, I think, Ronnie to ask him, can you give me a quote on what you would charge? And then Ronnie would give it to him. And then Daniel would be like, I'll just do it myself. So he wanted to see what Ronnie was charging. So that's what he could charge somebody. Mm-hmm. And he's not licensed. You cannot be building people's houses. And
so he really was sitting at the bar at the Chop House and heard Plumber.
I'm sure of it. That would be a question for Daniel, but I'm not sure that you would ever get any truth out of it.
We already know he's not truthful.
Yeah.
So
they're opportunists. So they're always looking and scanning and scheming where can I latch on to next?
And he was always talking more business adventures and stuff. And I remember her always being like, you just stick with what you have. And, now all the things that she was going through and saying make way more sense too. Yeah. Like you said, in hindsight or looking back, now knowing what I know and playing every time we were all together and conversations had. I mean, we had a group chat that the four of us talked on daily, and it was even crazy. All of a sudden, that just goes radio silent.
And
except for him, he kept chiming. He kept messaging in there
because he's fighting for his life.
Yeah, what are you mad, bro?
He's just like, hey, what are you guys doing this weekend? And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I am not going anywhere with you with that ankle monitor on.
Exactly.
Absolutely fucking
not. Did you have an ankle monitor?
Right.
Yeah, no, dude, no. And she was keeping him at, she was playing her cards and trying to get everything figured out. So while she's doing that, we were trying to play nice. My husband could no longer play nice. He just about had enough. So his nickname from Daniel is Mouth of the South. And Ronnie's like, I wear that proudly because, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So I let you know that. And that's it. You've fucked plenty of people over, and and you're out here building people. Not only are you stealing from people, you aren't even licensed to be really doing it.
Right.
So it's like a double-edged sword. So it's one thing if you're doing it, you're not licensed and you're just under the radar, but he couldn't be flying higher above the radar.
Right, exactly. Literally. With flags.
Yeah. I mean, his truck is wrapped. The whole thing. I'm like, why don't you just say unlicensed contractor?
Right.
Call me.
Construction.
I will take all your money.
Right. And he literally, it baffles me that holy shit.
Yeah.
He don't even care.
No, he doesn't.
Okay. So another thing that I wanted to touch base on, because when we were talking the other day, now I want to just go into a little bit of your background about how you grew up, because as you know, we're fixers, and because we grew up.
And I think Jess is too.
Yeah. Crazy. And so.
And I want to say, because a lot of people did have a comment why did she stay? If you are not in that position, believe me, you have no idea the things that you will do. And second of all, she's very business oriented, and she knew that she had to play her cards right, or she was going to go down with him.
Yep.
So before anybody's like, I don't understand. You don't have to understand.
No.
It's not your story to understand.
Yeah.
It's Jess's. But she played the cards right to keep her own ass safe
Yep.
because he could have drug her down with him at any given time.
Yep.
And almost did had she
Right.
not righted the wrong that he did. So let's get that out there. Like,
Yeah.
But
for
I
real.
also think too, when you grow up a certain way, like we did,
Yeah.
we've seen
Okay.
one. No, so I wanted to touch base on your back or how you grew up because I think the way we grew up and we've seen really bad people in our life.
Right.
So sometimes people that are like that doesn't seem as bad. I
Right.
don't know.
Because it's not like physically harming anyone.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
It's just I think I'm extremely empathetic because of how I grew up. I grew up in a home where my parents were, my dad was on drugs pretty bad. My parents went through a divorce and my mom, she did her thing for a little while, went and worked for Chrysler in Detroit, and we stayed with my dad. And so I think because of that, it kind of, I was kind of left with my dad and my two siblings, kind of being a parent to them at a young age.
So you raised your parents just like we did.
Yeah.
You get that.
Yeah,
And you raised your
I raised my
siblings.
siblings. And, my dad, he had my stepmom around, so he got married again really quickly. She was on drugs really bad, so he was always chasing her, trying to figure out who she's cheating with, what she's doing, dragging us into the middle of it. And we just are, I think that makes us kind of want to help it. Well, for me, it made me want to
for
help
sure.
everybody. it was like I was raising my dad.
Yeah.
Like you guys had to raise.
Well, and also I think too, being a mom,
that too.
like it's like there's a little bit of a mommy
Motherly, yeah.
role. Like we want to take care of people, we want to fix them,
yes,
we want to
and
make
then on
them
top
better.
of it, my dad took the drugs to a whole nother level. And a month before I married my ex-husband, he ended up overdosing and dying. And so you hold a lot of guilt with that, thinking, well, what could I have done differently? If I supported him more, maybe it wouldn't have happened. And so it's like, I don't know, with
You
Daniel.
overcompensate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's like
Trying to
everybody
forgive.
that's come into my life since then, I am that way. It's like I feel like I cannot give up on a person.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Because
No
you're like,
matter
what
what.
if that one time is going to be the
Yeah.
monumental thing that changes them or like opens their
Yes.
eyes?
Right.
And with Daniel, it was like with the Deborah money the first time. He had this elaborate story of how, I had the money in another account. I didn't mean to take it from that account. I was just going to pull it back from this account, but somebody filed bankruptcy and it put a hold on that account and this and that. So it's it makes you question, well, maybe he really did have
Right.
it and he
Yeah.
didn't mean to do it.
Right.
Right.
The Hillary stuff, with the camper and the Razor ATV and all those things, the Harley. Well, you don't know. There's two sides to every story. She was a bitter, jealous girlfriend, and she was just mad at me because I didn't want to be with her. So then she decided to take the things back. So even though
And we as women all know that bitter, jealous
Right.
girlfriend
Yeah,
who
right,
has
right,
done that.
right.
Or
That's-
maybe
that's-
we
because
have
we
been that
have
way.
been,
sometimes.
yeah, because
Right.
we've been that with
Right.
someone.
Right.
and so like
You're like,
all
oh, I
those,
can
Yeah,
totally
like
see that.
his reasonings weren't off
Oh, no,
off the
yeah,
charts
totally.
to where you'd be
Right.
like,
And I also, when I went back and watched our first recording, I had some of the years wrong because I was in pretty much 2 years with him before I found all of this out. And in those 2 years, I had already gotten myself into over $2 million worth of debt with him and $400,000 out of my pocket into things. And so there's so many moving parts to that on top of me questioning,
if you're
is
doing
he
the right-
really this bad
Yeah.
of a person, or am I like, am I just thinking it because I'm hearing these things from these
Other
other people,
people.
not really knowing
But they
the
don't
full
know
true
him
story?
like you do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because you live with him every day. So,
Right.
yeah.
And maybe he was young and fucked up sometime when he
Right.
was young, because we all do that.
Right.
Also, let me ask you this. Because you came from like a rough background and now you have, I don't want to say like you're wealthy, but like you have a good life, does it make you want to share that with people who haven't?
Yes,
I get that. Like, I don't have like
constantly.
a good life, but like compared to what I was raised in, I'm like, Kila always says, Ashley's always taking kids from like church. I'm like, I just want them to see, like, baby, there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
You just got to do right, you know.
Yeah.
So I get that whole like, let me take him. He's never really had anything, you know. But he struggles, and you know, because he's a victim and all
Right.
that.
Well, and he had a story too. You know,
You're
he
right.
came from 2 parents that were drug addicts. He
Right.
came from a rough life, and so
You're like, let me help you, and we can build this together.
Yes. And so a lot of people don't understand that when
They
they get to
don't.
judging, but also.
And you loved him.
Right. I mean, there was a point where I did. I
Yeah.
loved who I thought he was.
Yeah, and the idea of that he sold you.
Our kids loved
Yeah.
each other. You know, his
Oh, yeah,
son
once
and
the
my
kids
son
are
were
involved,
only
too,
2 years
yeah.
apart. And, you know, even to this day, my little one struggles with that.
I mean, I saw the video where you were
video.
crying, like literally crying.
I mean,
because of
we
the
watched
kids.
it every time I play. I literally I just cry.
Yeah.
And that video is old.
Right.
And any time that I watch that video, it hurts
Because
my
you know,
heart.
2 kids were affected by this, not just you
Exactly.
2. It was
Well,
2
and really,
kids.
at the end of the day, his too. I know we're not going to really talk about him, but like all this is going to affect him for a really long time.
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Right.
at
Oh,
least
yeah.
for you. You can recover,
Right.
and Talon will recover, and this will just be
a memory.
Yeah.
I text Jess and told her that when I was stalking his Facebook, I'm like, his kid looks so sad.
Yeah.
Like
Always.
just so blank.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he knows it's bullshit. He knows.
But it's his dad.
Right,
And he wants
right.
it to
Yeah.
not. I mean,
Right,
of course you
right,
want it to
yeah.
not be
Right.
none of that to be
Yeah.
true.
But there's other parts to that. So Daniel posted something a couple days ago about how he paid for this mommy makeover and paid $17,000 and did all these things for me last year. And I want to speak to that also.
Because
yeah.
she called it out before he even did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
The night
literally
before,
did.
We
I
were
said-
talking about it.
And what happened with that is Daniel owes me so much money from things he has done. He has written checks to himself out of my business account on a house he told me he did work on, but later found out the subs did the work. He didn't do it. Wrote double checks thinking I wouldn't catch it for the same things. And also the $40,000 that I had to eat when I sold the big house to pay Deborah back the first time.
Hold
There's-
on a minute, because y'all went into an actual business together.
We did. Yes.
Yes. So after 2 years in, y'all went into like a
And we
flipping
no,
house.
even a year in, we were
Okay,
a
the
year
flipping
in.
house business where y'all had an account together and
Yes,
Okay.
all the things, and so we were tied to that too. So that's another thing why I couldn't leave. There's some things I can't speak to with that for legal purposes, but so we were tied to a business. There were some tax things that I had to clean up that happened with us, and they're still going on now. There's still things going on now. But you get to a point where like enough is enough. I was protecting myself, but I feel like it's bigger than me.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that have been affected by him that if I continue to hide and stay and not talk about it, just like all these other victims did
Yeah.
from years
More,
ago,
it's just gonna-
keep happening.
Yeah.
But that surgery, the post he did, is funny to me because that was last year in the beginning of the year. And he came to me and was like, you know I've done a lot of shitty things to you, and I just want to do this as a kind gesture to show you that I've changed and I can, whatever. He didn't pay $17,000. It wasn't a mommy makeover. It was a lipo procedure, and I have no shame in that. I
Right.
have no shame in
Oh,
that.
wait, and can we clear the air on how he paid for
He
that?
put it on fucking care credit.
Yeah, so
that is probably not being
Yeah,
paid
and
for.
it'll
You
never
never
get
credit up.
paid.
He's
And-
probably
he could
also
get care
being
credit
sued
and
for
approved.
that.
Yes.
And it's probably in default.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't $15,000 of another person's money. He straight put it
And
on
this
care
wa-
credit.
And this was before I knew that he had taken Deborah's
That
money
too.
another time, and the JT and his family. The
And girl,
family
first of all,
five.
you don't have to explain shit. Just take what you can get from him. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't give a damn if he put it on whoever's credit
Yeah,
card.
right.
Take what you can get, girl.
But what's
Right.
funny about that is, and then he talked to
I'm sorry. Somebody's at my front
no,
door
you're
looking
fine.
crazy.
And then he also posted about how he took care of me and he cooked and cleaned and all all these things. No, he didn't. He did that for the first couple of days, and then every day he was gone all day long, and I had to literally drain my own drains and everything. But also,
we came over.
Yes,
we made him and Ronnie go get us all dinner, and and I brought her prune juice and all the things because she wasn't able to.
This was before Cancun?
This was before Cancun. We were leaving like a month later.
Okay. So this was before we had found out all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's not like I knew any of that when this happened.
And you had just known he had done some shit to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Previously. And this felt like he was trying to make amends for it all. But also he spoke to a cancer that nobody knows about because I don't broadcast my stuff like he does. I had melanoma on my butt cheek. I did not get cut across my body. It was a big cut on my ass.
And I will say that. Yes. I've actually seen the pictures
Daniel
of
didn't take care of me for that. My kid did. And he was on there talking about how he spent all this money for Valentine's and I wouldn't. Again, he owed me a lot more than what he did with that little lipo
and let's
procedure.
just say, since we did the podcast, because we've all stalked him on Facebook. I've been stalking him like crazy.
Well, I'm blocked, but I have my ways.
But this mother father has done nothing but post trying to get your attention.
Yes, absolutely.
That's all he has done.
How frustrating it is to know
to
that
not say anything back.
lies are being told, and you want to scream from the rooftop like none of that shit. But girl, just know that everybody already knows that.
Just getting
the people that matter know. He still, unfortunately, has trolls on there that are just like,
there's
going to
be
always.
Honey, you don't want him to cook you dinner. Not now, not ever, because there's an ulterior motive to that.
He literally stole somebody's post. The last post he posts, like he made somebody's dinner and somebody commented on it and was like, why are you stealing my food posts? Dead ass.
Yes. We got the receipts for that. I mean, we can explain. This guy, and here's the other thing. When you had that surgery, he fucking bitched and moaned about having to drain your drains. Remember? I was like, I will do it. Let me stop. Like all this stuff. Wanting to take a shower. He had excuses for all of that. I was let us come over. Yeah. I brought her over things to help her. I mean, he did the bare minimum. But you know why? Because he had all these other women and shit that he was trying to stay on top of.
That's what I was
It all makes sense.
He literally was going to see other women while I was home sick like that. And I found it out afterwards. I found it out afterwards. So I did want to speak to that because I've gotten some backlash from some people that knew that and had messaged somebody and said that about me too. I don't care. Yeah. He owes me way more than that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And again, that was way prior to me finding out that
here's
he's
the
done
other
this
thing.
to
I know
anybody.
all this is going to bring more good than bad, and there are going to be people, the keyboard warriors and the Karens of the
and
world.
everybody's solving shit in their living room.
Everyone's going to have something to say. I mean, they just need to save it because you really don't. You don't know, until you've lived it, and even when you've lived it. I want to see when you've lived it if you would do all the things that you'd say you would do. You won't.
Not
because
only that,
I've been in that position
I can tell you
where
right now,
I have protected somebody I shouldn't have.
If I would have laid down and just taken it like these other women did, I would have been in the same positions that some of these people have come
there's
out.
like 20-something people I was just counting on.
You're doing something about it.
Right.
4, 5,
and
6,
I felt
7,
obligated to.
You're doing great. So screw the trolls. Who gives a shit? Because I always said if a man ever cheated on me, I'd never. And then I married a man that I'm pretty sure, I don't even know how many times he cheated on me, but like I was married to him for 5 years. So no, I ain't speaking on nobody's shit. I won't never say, I will never
say never. No. I said that about my last relationship too. Before I got married, I said never say never because
You're gonna eat your
everything
words.
that I said I wouldn't do, I did. I was with somebody that cheated on me, forgave, alcoholic, all the things.
And most people in their lifetime,
making excuses.
Most people in their lifetime will never have $2 million of debt tied up with somebody where their name is on deeds that you have to figure out how am I even going to get rid of this debt, and then I have so much money tied up in it that if I lose all this money, I'm done.
Yeah.
Most people in their lifetime never deal with that.
You're a realtor out here. You've lived here a long time.
Yes.
You have an image that you want to protect and live up to. So, I mean, people need to understand that. And if they don't, that's okay too.
Fuck 'em.
I mean,
Right.
yeah,
Fuck 'em,
we
yeah.
don't give a
I
shit.
mean,
Keep on
because
going.
honestly, y'all need to be taking notes.
Yeah.
Right.
And y'all
Yeah.
need to be laying a plan out
Yeah.
like she did to get out of it.
Because if you ain't going through it, your damn kid's going to go
you
through it
had
or
your
something.
deed. So
Somebody-
he was on the deed to the house,
He
the
was
big
on
house.
the deed of the big house and some of the rental properties.
And so when you got him off of that, but then you were still had your business, because that's what Lakin and I, that's what she was
Right.
saying something, and you were like, no, we were in a business together.
Right.
So we had to get all of that out. So that's why it took longer.
Yes.
And so you were just figuring out all the shit to get him off.
Because
And
you
he
had
was-
to refinance or something to get his name.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah. And so that takes time.
But
and
and
try to
also-
keep him under wraps so he wasn't.
I don't know how you did it.
Oh yeah, because
I don't know.
he that's the thing too. He wasn't dumb.
No.
Like he there was a lot of times that he was like questioning her and stuff, and she was, like just being the middle person and not, telling him all the things and stuff. So it's like, yeah, she might have been still talking to him, but there was valid
Well, yeah, but she had to be a
reasons for
step
that.
ahead of him
Yeah,
or-
all the time.
And
Otherwise,
then too, like I said, I didn't really know. Like I always questioned with the Deborah thing the first time when we were tied to that money. Maybe he really did have that money in an account and something
Right.
happened to it.
You were
and,
still trying to think the best of it.
and with the Hillary situation, maybe it was like a he say, she say thing because I didn't know. Because I also didn't know that she won a judgment against him. That that judgment didn't happen until right before I found out about the Deborah thing again and JT. So it was just those little things that I had found out about. They weren't little, they were big things.
Right.
But he twisted it so hard that I was like, am I the one that's just over exaggerating this? Like, am I crazy? Like,
Yep.
literally,
That's
am
the
I
thing, I
crazy?
think
Yeah,
people
because
don't
That's a
understand.
narcissist. That's what they
Yeah.
do. They
Yeah.
make you crazy.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, she's crazy.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
and
like, no,
he
you
took
make
on
it-
your persona, but then he started beating you down. in the
Exactly.
process of putting you down for just things.
Oh,
stupid
it was.
things.
I mean, it went as far as from like, you don't make me feel like a man. You don't. You beat me down. You're horrible to me. You're not affectionate enough to me. You don't pursue sex with me. I mean, anything he could think of to make me feel bad about myself. You would look stupid in those clothes. I don't know why you would. I mean, anything physically, emotionally, mentally, anything he could think of. It was something I was doing wrong.
Well,
Yeah.
we just all have to keep in mind that karma comes around and he's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
look really pretty in his
Oh,
black
yeah.
and white and oranges in prison.
So let's speak about after.
And the slides. You get some orange slides with that.
Yeah. Can't forget
okay.
the slides.
So,
So what happened after the podcast aired? Like, I know some things you cannot speak on because there's
Right.
legal
Yeah.
stuff going on now, but like people came out of the woodwork.
They
Out
did.
of the woodwork.
Out of the woodwork. I mean, my phone has been blowing up with previous women he's done things to that have been scared to speak on it. There is a woman that went to the police and they couldn't find him. And so after so many years passed, he just got away with what he had done to her. I mean,
we
there's
still-
a lot.
Yeah, we
One
still
reach-
need to dig on that too because we
Yeah.
haven't really got
Like a statute of
solid-
limitations?
Yeah,
Right.
because on that we talked to somebody and to find out how that goes, and I think we're a little confused on this girl if they actually filed
Right.
a report. There's a difference
Or she
between
just
like a
talked to someone.
report or something else. There is a statute of limitations, but even
Oh.
if they tried to serve him and they couldn't find him, that can't just be
Right. Like, well, 7 years,
sorry.
you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because look at what he's done since
awesome.
2017,
Yeah.
and this poor woman is still paying for it.
Is she the one that texted you and told you that like has no credit now? Like he's ruined her credit and she's
Yeah, so he actually, back in, I think it was 2017 or 2018,
I think it was 2017. I think.
he started talking to this chick and he somehow talked her into signing for a camper. It was $40,000 or $50,000. Same thing he said to the Hillary girl, we can rent it out, make money on it. So she's like, oh yeah, let's do it. Sign for the camper.
She was younger at the
She
time.
was younger
right?
at the time, in her 20s. She had pretty good credit, so she did it.
what county are we in?
This is Warren County, his hometown.
McMinnville.
Yes.
Okay.
So the camper
horrible.
situation,
I know.
he ended up taking his ex and those kids in that camper to Disney right after she signed for it. The girl had no idea. Did that, and then he had the camper. And then she ended up being pregnant by her then boyfriend, fiance. I can't remember what she said. So
Oh my God, I forgot
gets
about
a knock on the door a couple months later. And it's somebody looking for the camper to repossess it. And she was like, I was standing there pregnant and I literally just dropped to my knees because I knew then I'd been gotten. Like he got me. She said he had made fake receipts that he was sending her showing that he was paying the payments and never did. And then she also later found out he had opened credit cards up in her name.
Oh my God.
Added himself as an authorized user, maxed those cards out and never paid for it.
Oh my
and
gosh.
so this was 2017, 2018. And to this day, she still can't get a house because it damaged her credit so bad.
Is she not still paying on the camper?
Yeah, she's still paying on
She
it.
still owes
She had to
$15,000 or
help-
something like that on
she
it.
had to help the repo man repossess her own camper from Daniel.
So is she going to be able to pursue legal action?
that's the
She's the
one-
one that y'all don't know about the
that
statute.
we had asked about, and I think at some point
They had tried to serve him.
Yeah,
And couldn't find him. 'cause
I think
he-
we need to link her with somebody,
Yeah.
or
She commented on the podcast.
But first, because I've got friends that live there. So first, though, he allegedly snitched on someone, and they got a bunch of jail time because he was a narc. And snitches get stitches. Where I'm from.
stitches, right? I'm like,
But then we heard that he had supposedly got some kind of settlement, and he opened a restaurant.
Which I later on, I found out that supposedly restaurant he opened belonged to another woman, and they had some dealings to some financial stuff. So
And then he had a bounce house place.
he's like the jack of all
I know.
trades.
really is.
And he
The
never
master
paid
of
his
none.
employees.
Yeah.
Right.
Master
So-
of none.
Yeah.
Daniel.
all the
Didn't they
employees
say
sued
that
him.
Daniel of all trades?
But then
Yes.
the lady who he rented,
So there was a woman, she ended up having, this is all allegedly, but people that have
Yes.
told me are reliable sources, but she had a brain tumor, and I don't know if she's still here. I don't think she's still here, but he somehow convinced her that he was going to, he was renting a building from her, and he told her that the HVAC unit needed to be replaced. She gave him $20-some thousand, and he just used the money and never replaced the HVAC unit. And there's documentation of that. That's public
Yes,
record. It's
it
still out
is.
there.
and then
Yeah.
there's the sod company,
Oh yeah, the sod company.
which is
Yeah,
hold
so they
on,
commented on.
yeah.
Oh, the sod company comment?
Walker
wait.
Sod Farm.
Yeah.
Was it?
That's
Did they
his
comment
house.
on?
Either they commented or reached out
Oh,
to
no,
you and
they
me.
sent a-
yeah,
they
they
sent a book.
messaged me too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she just wants to get his ass. She said she has got.
That's from his house,
But we
right?
got to
His
hear.
personal
We got
house.
to hear the dad's voicemail, didn't we?
Oh yeah, he left me a message
Yeah.
because he thought that was like my house too, because
Mm.
everybody, for some reason, he tells everybody we're married. Like certain
Except
people,
for
certain
the
people.
bitches
Well,
that,
yeah,
except
that
for the
he's
women.
trying
Well, yeah,
to,
because he's
to
trying to
get
get off
with
your
or
phone.
whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, not bitches. Sorry, I don't mean
Right,
that.
right.
I mean,
Right.
yeah.
We just call women bitches sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's fine. But yeah, he's telling them that you're like
A
on his
jealous
nuts.
ex and-
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
You
you
couldn't
can't get him out of
imagine-
your damn house.
You couldn't imagine the things he had to go through to get rid of me and to
Yeah.
sell the
Right.
big house that wasn't even any of his debt attached to it. Yeah, all the things.
Okay, so the sod people have a judgment that they got before Christmas. So now he's got a judgment against him
On that, yeah.
on their behalf.
And what's
Because he
going
got
on with
sawed.
that? We don't
I mean,
know.
you just have to put a lien and hope
Yeah.
you get it.
So because he got sod put down, and then he kept like leaving when it was time to
Yeah, then
pay,
he,
like,
ding dong
and then
ditched
they
him.
were like, "What the hell?" And then he just kept like, "Oh yeah," like bullshitting
yeah,
them.
and then you confronted him about it, and he said,
Oh, he said,
didn't
"Oh
like the
no,
way
I got proof.
Yeah.
They didn't finish the job or do it. This is
Yeah.
what he tells me about everybody he doesn't pay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything that comes to actual work, siding,
and then there was the lady
electrical.
with the $100,000 insurance.
Yes, a girl named Sasha. Her mom was killed in a car accident, a tractor trailer truck accident. She got $100,000 life insurance policy. She was really young too. Daniel caught wind of it. Somehow talked her into letting him hold the money. It was like $90,000 left of it, and
Ladies, never let a man hold your money.
Well, there was,
he ran off with it.
but there was something else with that.
Oh, her aunt was trying to sue her or something because
So
she
he was
had
gonna
accidentally
hold it.
started a
Yeah.
fire.
So he was
going to
holding
hold it and keep
so
it
he
safe.
was going to hold, in his safe or something.
And then literally ran off with it.
90,000, like he didn't give her any of it back.
No, ran and ghosted her.
And her mom died.
and
Like,
her- yes.
Daniel, if you're watching this, you are literally the scum of the earth. Like, you need to drop to your knees right now and repent to the Lord because,
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
It's
I
bad.
mean,
well, then she lost it after that, and I heard she got on drugs really bad, and then had a baby on drugs, and she was arrested, and she's still in jail.
Yeah, and then there's the lady that he was
which
going to
we
sell her
want
car.
to talk
Yeah.
to her.
So there was another chick in McMinnville that they were messaging.
McMinnville is not very big.
Right.
Does
Word did not get
McMinnville
in.
have like a group? You know how we have
Like
like,
the
Murfreesboro?
pages?
Well,
Yeah.
this is why he
like,
no longer
do
lives
not
there.
talk
Yeah.
to this man.
This is
Well,
why
he's
he no
out of
longer
there
lives
now
there.
because of it.
They
Yeah,
chased him
but
off, but
like-
so they were messaging back and forth, and she was looking for a car for her son, and Daniel was telling her, "Oh yeah, I can get you any car you want," and then she had her son's car was broken down, so she was like, "Well, he's like, I'll help you sell it." So he told her he sold the car. And then he started ghosting her when it was time to give her the money. So she threatened police and everything else. She was like, I was not playing about this car. So come to find out, he had actually signed the title over to himself. I don't know what he was getting ready to do with it, but then he dropped the car off at like Dollar General or something and left the title in it because he was afraid she's going to go to the police. Yeah.
Okay, and then there was a lady that he
Wow.
convinced he was a real estate agent,
Yeah.
and he wanted
yeah.
to pull her equity on the house.
So that was actually just this past year.
Yeah.
He,
these are a lot of these are things that we have just found out
and
in
this
the last
is not
couple
allegedly
weeks.
because
Yeah.
I was sent the messages and I have proof of them. But he was telling her he's a real estate agent. Don't sell your house. I've got plenty of options for you. You can make so much money. You need to invest and do this and do that. And thankfully she knew better and didn't. But like he literally was telling her he was a real estate agent.
I know, and this is just in McMinnville County. And the latest one is from yesterday. The latest is yesterday. To all the ladies that was fired from the landing.
Oh, my
Is that
gosh.
McMinnville?
Smithville, same type
Smithville.
area, yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. I have enough equipment, tables and chairs. I mean, everything
Oh,
from
God, this son of a bitch is
from my
coming.
restaurant that I owned inside the mall, and I'm willing to help you guys open up something zero charge. If some others want to help, that's fine. We could come together for them.
Oh,
Shut the fuck up.
he's a vigilante.
Shut
He's
the
now
fuck up.
saving
Wait,
people.
hold the break. When was that?
He
Yesterday.
just posted that
He
yesterday.
posted that
before
yesterday?
before he went off.
Yeah.
Before he deleted his Facebook.
My friend
yeah.
that lives in McMinnville screenshot it and sent it to me.
But there's
Oh,
more.
God, I'm so
there's,
excited.
So
I
there's
threw-
a woman. There's a woman in Las Casas.
Oh, well, we hadn't got to the other
Oh,
county. That
sorry,
was girl. That
sorry.
was just McMinnville. We ain't even. Let's see, which one you want to do? Franklin County, Moore County, Marshall County, or Rutherford County next?
God
Which
bless.
pick a county?
Did we get through all of McMinnville?
Yeah, that was all of McMinnville.
Okay.
that was the last one on McMinnville, and then Franklin County.
That's Deborah.
That's the
Poor
lady.
sweet Deborah.
Yeah, that he scammed.
Okay.
Twice
this
out of
first chick,
$100,000.
You and that good heart.
Yes, that's what I
Yeah.
saw.
And then Moore County.
I want to be like.
That's where he's got
all
the
right.
electrician.
The girl that
So he's
said
got the
that,
electrician
I'm not going
that's
to
not
put you on
paid.
blast,
He's
but he's
got,
And probably
not
a lot of
good, and
subcontractors,
his
you
heart
said,
is
but
that's the only one
hard,
that's reached
so
out to you.
do not.
It's to the
buy
tune of
any
probably
the
40,
bullshit.
50 grand.
And then he's got the theft of $128,000 for the family of 5.
Oh yeah, that was in Moore County. Yeah. For the house that he said he was going to finish, but then ran off and never paid the subcontractors and didn't help finish the house.
Let's see, in the Marshall County, he's got a case of credit card fraud. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine why.
These are all open
Right.
cases.
Yes. They're all open right now. Yes.
Yeah.
And
He has
is that the
not
only
entered
thing in
any
Marshall
of them.
County?
Yeah. That's
like-
the only one.
And
in
then
Marshall.
Rutherford County, y'all, he's got the skid steer person.
Yeah, so that wasn't that never got charged, but he tried to
Yeah.
talk her into signing for an $80,000 skid steer while we were together.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then he took a lady out to look at
Oh,
lots.
this was actually just recently within the last year too. He was talking to a woman, reached out to him. And he was talking to her, and I don't know if her house was paid for or not, but somehow he was like, well, I need you to why don't you just deed your house over to me? Started taking her looking at building lots in Las Casas, saying he owned them. I can build you a house. And she's like, well, I have to pull a construction loan for that. He's like, no, I can self-finance it for you. We have options if you just deed your house over to me. Yeah, this was within the last year.
Yeah, ladies, don't deed your house over
No.
either.
And
no,
then the realtor trying to
never.
get
What in
her
the
to let
heck?
him build houses for her.
Right. And that was just recently too. Yeah.
Yes. And then another lady that he was, is that the same one signing over the house so he would build a house for her?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that a different lady?
That's the same one.
Yeah. And then there was another guy that sent you a message where he was just out with him and he was chalking lots with him. Remember?
Yes. Oh, yeah. He was like, he literally was trying to get me to invest in some things with him. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that was just a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And
Right. That's
If I had his confidence,
I know.
like I would be a billionaire.
Right.
Because I'm honest. I would do it like honest, but like, oh my gosh.
yeah. Well, that my husband said that to me today. He was like, "Why? What? Like maybe this is what we need to do. We can just go scam a bunch of
kidding.
people and not get in trouble
go
for
state
it,
to state, county to county, and you're good.
And just and I told him, I said, I want to sleep at night.
Right.
Like Daniel, how the hell have you ever slept at night?
But also,
ever.
can we address the fact that when all of his stuff was seized, because it's not paid for,
Oh yeah.
so it all got repossessed back to the lenders, right?
Yeah.
Can we address the fact that somehow he got some of that stuff back, and now those lenders are blowing my phone up because I'm assuming he's not paying on it, and I'm one of the contacts
That's
on there.
weird.
I'm getting
I don't
messages
even
left and right
understand
from it.
why.
Like he had to pay. He had to catch it up.
We know, we do.
He would have had to
We
catch it
that
up.
we know.
Scam to get the money to catch it up.
That we do know that, right? 'Cause
I mean,
we were told
my
that.
car's been repoed before, and I had to catch it
Yeah,
up.
no, we were told by
Yeah,
a
right.
reputable source
Right, that he would have had to catch
that in
this
order for
up.
him to have gotten those things back, he had to bring it current.
So how are you doing that but not paying these people back that you owe money?
Just
And
find a new victim.
But what's he doing for a job to even?
I don't know.
He has done made himself, and somebody else has done made him an authorized
Yes.
user on their credit
Yeah.
card.
Did I
Really?
not tell you that the
Yes.
other day
Yeah.
when we were out or whatever?
That's exactly what's
I
happened.
said,
Can you
there
imagine
has to
his
be
credit report?
somebody else.
I would just like to see his credit report.
Yeah. Yeah,
To
no
see
kidding.
How many pages?
Well,
it
we
is.
said there has to be somebody that he is either currently scamming or is scammed recently that has allowed him to get his, not just his trailer out, he got his damn truck back.
Yep.
And then,
I don't know for sure if the truck's back.
oh, you don't? Oh, we don't?
We don't know that for sure. Because we saw a live video, but I don't know if he got that truck back. But we do know the camper
Oh, yeah,
is
because he
back.
likes to post videos
Oh,
on
I
his
know.
social media.
they are so
that are old.
But
gross.
this is the way that this man's mind works.
Mm-hmm.
So you're so infatuated with these material things that really and truly you shouldn't even have because you've freaking taken everybody's money to either make payments
you
on
don't
it
earn,
or whatever.
you didn't deserve any
Used
of it.
my credit to build your credit up.
Mm-hmm.
But then instead of worrying about how am I going to make this right with these people, you're focused on getting these things back.
Yeah.
So that you can boast and flaunt on Facebook
and
about
prove
it.
to
And
everyone
he
that
did.
you're not.
And he
Yeah.
did that. He posted, and we didn't believe it because, I mean, we have eyes everywhere. And when we saw that, I was like, "There's no way he would get that back." Mm-hmm. And then
and
we
the
scammed
multiple
somebody.
trips. He keeps posting trips.
Yep. I think he's sending everybody on a wild goose chase. I said it because I said he was in Knoxville. Then 4 hours later, he's in Spring Hill at Vikings Pizza. No, you aren't.
Right.
No, because I've driven to Knoxville. I've also been, I have friends that live out that way. And that absolutely not. And I mean, it makes sense with everything that's currently
posting all
going
the
on.
pictures like he's out of town
He's
on an
sending
island.
everybody on a wild goose chase. I don't doubt that at some point he wasn't in Knoxville or whatever. He's been posting in other
I doubt
people's
everything
kitchens.
about him. I don't believe nothing he
Well, I mean,
said.
even the picture, even the post about him cleaning his whole house, and then he had the picture of the outside. And I texted Jess, and I was like, "So he went outside and took a picture of his house after he posted, like, I just cleaned my house."
But
and
even
she goes,
the pictures of the house that were
she's like, "Those are old as hell."
that was,
And I'm like,
yes, those pictures of like the clean house was a day. I didn't even know he went around taking pictures of his house being cleaned after my cleaning girl went over there and cleaned it. Like,
Yeah.
this was like a long time ago when he first moved in.
Wait. Your cleaning girl cleaned his house and he posted like
that he did
cleaned
it.
Yeah.
That he did it all day. We've been working all
So
Yes.
you
day.
can't even be honest about that.
No, everything with him is
But
a
I
facade.
think that's like he lays in bed and he's like, "Okay, I've got to keep up the facade. So what can I say that makes me
Yeah.
humble?
It's what can I
You
say
can't
that
believe
makes women
nothing.
think
Ray
I'm a,
Ray say say.
I'm a good kid."
That was so good.
Listen, it's
we can't believe
it's- I'm
anything
such a
that
great
Ray
cook.
says.
No, it's I'm such a great cook and I clean and I do all these things so that a woman will desire
I'm so
me.
domesticated.
Yeah, so that a woman will desire me. Just like when
No.
he posts about my procedure, he was really truly doing that because he wants women to think he pays for them for things. you got to understand how much I lost.
Right.
Like, I lost more than I gained with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Way more than I gained
I
with
like
that.
when he posted the Soma sign because
yeah.
I remember that. I remember
bring
him
the
telling
panties?
me.
Girl, I forgot, but
That's
I
okay.
do have
Sorry.
some.
We'll talk about that in a minute, too.
She wants my panties.
Oh,
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
all right.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I was like, I need to know this. I almost don't even want to tell my story now. But he used to talk about that all the time with you because I remember your birthday when I asked him what to get you, and he's one of the things he suggested was like a Soma gift card, and I was like, I'm not buying her a Soma
Right.
gift card.
Yeah.
Like,
You can
But
do the
tell everyone what he told you that he bought her.
oh yeah. So without even me asking, he told me that he just gave you 15,000 cash and said do
Buy
what you
yourself
want
a
with
good
it.
baby.
But get whatever you want with it. He said she was really simple, and he didn't really know what to get her. He never told me that he actually paid for on care credit your surgery. So
That's exactly
that
what
was
it was,
like
yeah.
obviously in conjunction with the 15,000 cash he gave you.
Right. And
Yeah.
like literally when I tell you it went on care credit and it's probably not paid
Right.
for.
They're going to be in court with everyone else. Like,
Yeah.
wanting their shit. Like,
Yeah,
get in
care
line.
credit. If you work for care credit and you're watching, you
Yeah.
might want to investigate
Right,
this
just
now.
go ahead and get in line.
before you get
But
the
let me tell
fees.
you guys how afraid I was that was even a hoax after all of this
Oh,
happened.
yeah.
I literally called my plastic surgeon friend well, I'm good friends with the nurse, and I was like, "Can you please make sure everything on my book is paid because I feel like something wasn't paid, and I
Right.
can't have you guys getting screwed over now
Yes.
that I know
Yeah.
he's scammed all these people
or
like
you
a
go
year
in
later."
for
Right.
a follow up,
school,
and they're like,
Shane.
"Sorry,
Yeah.
man,
Exactly.
Exactly.
you owe us
Yeah.
$5
We went
grand.
to
We
the
We got
don't
a
give a
billboard
shit."
with Jess's face. Like, hey, you owe us.
Yeah, you owe us $5 grand. We don't give a
always been
shit if
trouble.
your drains are infected.
But yeah, so I was like, I have to make sure even that was actually true. You know, like
I don't think people understand too all the trauma that's come along with all of this.
So much trauma. Yeah.
It's not. I mean, we joke around about it a lot because
But it's real
if
shit.
we don't. Like,
You're gonna be in the
because
corner
we
and
two
feel
had
alive.
many of conversations where it's like we've been speechless, or she's cried and I've cried with her, and like just being like in shock, like I've lost sleep over this, and it's not even my life.
Like,
but
I
like
know you were
it's
anxious
affecting
today.
so
Can you
many
tell?
people.
Not
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
good, sis.
No,
Yeah.
I called her today and I was like, I know you're anxious today. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
been
lot, and I probably
we were hoping he was going to be locked up today.
Yeah.
And he was for 30 minutes.
right.
Yeah,
Maybe more, but
Yeah, maybe an hour, maybe two. I don't even know. Like, yeah, that's a whole
Because
nother.
at the end of the day,
beast.
he's still alive, so he has a grip on you, regardless.
Regardless.
Yeah, until he is behind bars for a lengthy amount of time, he's still going to have a grip on you, and you're still going to question, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I overstepping? Am I doing way too much? Like, is he
you'll-
going to come back and like?
you'll probably
make an ass
question
of me?
yourself for the rest of your life on
Absolutely.
whoever you date. I mean,
Yeah.
the next guy you
it
date's
makes
going to
it
be,
hard.
you're going to be
Yeah.
like, I don't believe nothing you say.
Yeah.
It makes it really hard even to trust friends sometimes now because you just and I know that we sit here and it's like we're laughing about it and whatever, but I feel as though like, and I still shed tears.
Yeah.
I do. I cried the other day, but I've shed so many tears. I just don't want to anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I
And
get
it's
to the point where I'm just
normal
like, oh my
too,
gosh,
but
can we just move on?
yeah,
right.
and it's normal to feel all the things, but part of making light of this or joking about it is because we are trying. There's a bigger purpose here. We are trying
Right.
to
Because you're
help
trying to help
people.
everybody out. It's not like you
So-
just wiped your hands clean.
Yeah.
And now
You're the
Like,
bitter
we
ex
want
telling your story.
judicial
Yeah, I
system
know, yeah,
is
we-
going to drag it out
Yeah.
as long as they can. And it's not just one. You're dealing with how many
3
counties?
now.
Yeah.
And the thing of it is too, if I was just a bitter
Middle
ex,
Tennessee.
If
Yeah.
I was just a bitter ex, it would have stopped a long time ago.
Yeah.
If I was just a bitter ex, I would have, whatever. I didn't
I
even
honestly think he doesn't have a bitter ex. I don't think he's ever
No,
once in his life known a bitter ex because he uses people like trash. Like
if I was
he
a
never
bitter
allows
ex,
that to happen.
It would not have taken me 5 years to come out and
Right.
speak on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But I'm livid at this point because there's so many people that have been affected. And
yeah.
I feel angry because I did stay quiet for so long. And I feel like I could have stopped some of that from happening had I just spoke out.
Right.
And I almost feel the same guilt that I felt with the situation with my dad. It's like,
Yeah.
could I have stopped it?
But
Yeah.
sis, you have to repeat to yourself over and over and over. There is nothing you could have done, even if you would have found out 3-4 years ago. You are literally being a hero to so many
I got the
women.
tissues out.
Like literally, just think of the women that that you're gonna save
Yeah.
from
Yes,
this monster.
right. Yeah.
Like, and I know that's me saying that. That's not you. But seriously, you need to even if you don't believe it, repeat that shit to yourself because you're saving so many freaking women from being in the same position that you're in right now.
And
If
doing
not
the right
worse.
thing.
And not just with him. Like
Yeah,
there's so many
they're
people
dating.
like him.
Yes.
You know.
Sorry.
I can't get up. I'm in this
There's
whole.
so many people like him in this world.
Yes.
So it's, and the problem with this one in particular is he seems to take advantage of older women or younger women
and he's never been held accountable.
and never been held accountable. And that's why, we've talked about it. It was like all this happened really fast. And, she felt bad and was embarrassed in the beginning. I'm like, there's a silver lining in all of this.
Yes, baby,
And
yes.
this is it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we've been, since we came back, June 30th of last year, we've just been working, building, talking, getting information, trying, thinking of plans. And and we've thought of more things along the way of ways to help Deborah and
Oh, yeah. The
and
Justice for Deborah
the
stuff.
Justice for
That's all
Deborah.
gonna,
We're
like-
going to do merch. We talked about doing merch.
Yeah, that's all going to
And
come
those
to fruition. And your
proceeds,
happily
yeah.
ever after has not happened yet, but it's going to.
It is
Yeah.
going to.
It's
No,
like
You're too
right
good of a
there.
person, so don't ever,
Yeah.
don't give
You've
him
been
any more of
through-
your time. And I know it's easier said than done, but
Yes,
Yeah.
and you've been through so much bullshit, like in childhood, whatever, and that's why you're the one that has to stand up because you're stronger than
Than the
other
rest.
people,
Yeah.
and you're smarter. Like,
Yeah.
you have life skills and you have like intelligence. You know,
Right.
so
and you have support too around
Exactly.
you
Yeah,
that are
absolutely.
that are
And we're about
pushing
to-
you
yeah.
and
Can
helping
we go laugh all the way to the
Right, yes, and we're gonna be standing wherever he goes to prison, like with the damn it, Daniel.
Wait, we're gonna
Yes.
at some point we're gonna be like, "Thank you, Daniel."
Yes.
No, we're gonna show up with our podcast cups
Yes. And the
that we're
merch,
gonna get
yes.
made full of wine sitting up front being
Yeah, yeah.
Don't
While
date
they're
a
closing
Daniel.
the gates.
like, yeah, don't date a Daniel.
Yep.
Oh my
If you see
gosh.
a Daniel Martin DMs, you probably want to run.
Okay,
Girls, and that are we dating the same guy in Nashville? It's how
Yeah.
it all started.
Yes.
And my
Yeah,
gosh,
go on there.
You
I mean,
guys, yeah.
women.
But here's the thing: if you're hearing any of this, even one thing that you heard of this, and you're like, if your gut has told you this does not feel right, it's probably not right. It's not
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Run.
Yeah.
No,
run.
and I can
Dude.
attest to that because
Yes.
I saw so many red flags in the beginning and I just dismissed them because I was like, it's probably me. He's
Yeah.
such a good guy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it like it's too
Yes.
good to be true.
Yes.
Like, I didn't
Yes.
deserve
Yeah,
a
you were
guy
trying
like
to
this.
you were trying to
Trust
fuck up a
yourself.
good
Yes.
thing.
Right.
You're right.
So if you feel it in your gut, go dig deeper, figure
Yeah.
it out, get the hell out.
Yeah.
Also, let's talk about the panties. Okay. I
Oh
did
yeah,
not
please.
I did not. I'm not going to use her used panties.
Right.
But what happened was
Ashley likes to sniff underwear.
no, but she says somebody sent the post. Maybe I sent the post about the Soma that he posted on
yeah.
Facebook that said like,
Yeah.
fellas, if you don't know what to get your wives for Valentine's Day, go to Soma and
No,
get her whatever.
don't go to Soma. Do not listen
Right,
to
exactly.
Soma. That's where you go if you just want to buy her new panties and bras. But
Right.
like you
For
want to buy her
everyday,
something
like-
sexy.
Right.
fucking Frederick's, Victoria's Secret.
Right.
I don't even know what else
he said
is
don't
out
do
there.
that, but Jessica said that she's like, oh yeah, he did buy me a pack of panties, like a pack. Well, if it
It
comes
was
up,
like a couple packs
Right.
of panties, but it was stuff that
she
he
said it
knew
was
what I
granny
wore.
panties, and so
I was like,
Like,
he
a
did the opposite of what I wore.
But
Yes.
but she said granny panties, and I let her get through her trauma and stuff. And then I was like, "Hey, girl, so you still got them granny panties? How about some granny panties, girl?" And she was like, "Yeah, I actually do." And I was like, "Well, if you don't mind bringing them next
Y'all are
Tuesday."
still young because after a certain age, Selma's good.
Hold the
Selma's
brakes.
pajamas.
Yes, I
shop
have their
at Soma.
pajamas.
But they're not the
I have-
sexy wear.
No,
Right.
they're
They're
not.
like
I have
comforts.
their bras. I've bought some of their G-string underwear. They're not my favorite, which is fine. But I've bought in their
They're more
the
of like
slimmer
your
thing for. I was like a bridesmaid, so that was cool. Their strapless bras were good for the big old titty committee, and. Yeah, but if you're wanting like sexy lingerie, I'm not thinking
That's not where you're gonna go,
Soma.
right.
Like, yeah,
Well, and
like
I'm-
they have cute, sexy stuff, but I'm thinking like if Daniel's wanting to rip your lingerie off,
Oh God, I'm
About
glad
that.
you said that.
Well,
Melissa.
but on
I was
top
like-
of it, on top of it, he knew I'm a thong girl. So why you felt the need to get granny panties? I'm like, what were you doing with that?
This goes
He
back
probably
to
was trying to control you.
Well,
and-
Well, yeah, he wants you to wear them, so ain't nobody else gonna look at you.
He wants you to
Because
feel-
I'm telling you, no,
because he
it's
don't
not
want you to
this
feel
because I've got the
sexy.
granny
And that's
things on right
exactly
now.
what that was.
And
Yeah,
they're
he
so
doesn't want you to feel
comfortable.
sexy.
Right.
I'm
I
embracing
could
them.
tell you guys some of the things that this Joker has said to me to just kind of like discredit my feeling sexiness. Like, you guys would probably.
Oh, yeah.
It's bad.
I have a few of those myself that still, and I used to tell, like, when me and my ex-husband would get into it, I was always the aggressor and I was always the one that, like, hit first or whatever. But I'm like, I would rather you slap me than say the things that you say, because that
Yeah.
slap, I'm not going to feel that.
Right.
But I'll always feel or
What
carry
you
that.
said.
Yes, the
Yeah,
words that
the
you say.
words, yeah.
So,
because you can't
I'm
take them
with
back,
you.
too.
And even though now I know that, like, whatever, it's still ingrained in my DNA that, like, he said that and he brought me down, like, really, you son of a bitch. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Verbal abuse to me is worse, and mental abuse is worse to me than physical abuse. I mean, I'm not meaning like my ex-husband didn't ever,
Personally.
yeah, like he didn't throw me downstairs or anything because I
Yeah.
was the aggressor. But I'm just saying, like, in my
So you were throwing him down the stairs.
yes, exactly, yes, like I was after him with the
Ladies,
knife.
this is how you do
Yes.
it. You know?
Like, I mean, there was
Whole episode about it.
yes.
yeah, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have friends that can come on and be like,
With a
yes,
preacher.
there was a butcher knife. Yeah,
Dad
there
was a preacher.
all the things. Like, I really, like, I contemplated his murder. Like, I had it out. I had
You
it,
know what though?
I did because I was just like,
Hold
I
on.
don't know what else to do. Like, I
Let me
don't-
just say, Daniel's the type. Remember our old producer when he was like, "Oh, I feel some kind of way about that episode." Remember that?
yeah.
Yeah. That's something he would do.
But
You know
anyways,
what I'm talking about, Trent?
like, no, we don't remember him. Nope.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fucker.
Yep.
You too.
Yep. Because you know he watches. You know he does. Anyways, but. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for coming on. Like, and
y'all are
like,
awesome. And we're going to do
just
this
support.
more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Because it's been so much fun, like, exposing him.
Yes.
I know that
because
sounds
this is not.
bad.
This is just the tip of the
Yeah,
iceberg.
this
Like,
is
this is
ju-
about
yeah,
to be.
yeah.
There's so
we-
many fuck faces out there that we can
Yeah.
expose.
Yeah, like we have.
Oh, and I've
lot.
even been talking to Dirty John's ex-wife.
Oh,
the
yeah.
first wife.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
got a book
Oh.
coming out.
Oh,
Look,
yeah.
She just sent me a message. She said she would come on, Trent. She's got a book coming out though.
Like, don't scam people. Like,
No.
yeah. Like, first, just. And
we're gonna do that with her
Just
because-
don't.
Yes,
That's not physical
absolutely.
abuse, but that's just such. Like, it's so.
Just be a good
manipulative.
person.
Like,
It's
not
hard to be good
no.
people.
And be honest.
But again, this was for the greater good because we
It
want
is.
to try to find ways to help Deborah and the other family.
and you're gonna get such a community out of this. Like, you already
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Like, just like you're gonna be like, oh my god, this is.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Right.
plan a.
You're gonna be like, Daniel, who? I
Yeah.
forgot what we were even doing
Yeah.
this
well,
about.
and I mean, it's already
Yeah, we-
built up. I mean,
Yeah.
all of the women, they messaged
We're
me.
gonna plan a meet and greet
daily
for
now.
all these
Yeah.
women.
Right.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a meet and greet
Well, we
for
want-
every
for-
man or
yeah.
every woman that's been scorned by an asshole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and scammed, like,
we
ugh.
on our
gonna rent out
podcast
Murphy
want
Center.
some of them are willing to come out
Yes.
and want to
Yes.
come out and stuff. So we're gonna bring
'Cause
them
y'all
on.
stories are
We're
important,
gonna,
too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we want to talk about
So
everybody's
stay tuned
stuff.
because y'all don't
Yes.
have y'all's like. You're not. You
Have y'all
haven't
got a
published
release
yet.
date?
No.
No,
But
we have a
but
name.
we're gonna. Okay, you have a name. What's
yeah,
the name?
Daniel in Disguise.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I don't think we need to give him any more We don't need to give him any more
I said the
credit.
same thing.
The name.
We don't. Yeah.
What was the? Oh, I bet
Because
I
we
still
gave our
use.
mamas all the
Because-
credit,
yeah.
and look, we try to change it, and people are like, "No, we like the name."
You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
And
we
we're like,
did.
but we're tired of talking about them bitches.
Right. And they were like, no, you have to keep it. We don't need to give him any more. No, I'm not saying
I
y'all
have
can do
it.
that. But
okay. We're still recording.
yeah.
Okay, let's
But we
wrap
can-
it up.
let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
We love y'all, and we're going
And
to keep
now
y'all
we're
up to
gonna go
date.
tell y'all what Wanda and Barbara Jean would do to Daniel.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do that off camera because
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
right.
love y'all, and we're
Yeah.
going to see y'all again and watch
Yes.
updates for all this.
Yes,
But, like,
yes.
this is so
we'll
great.
be back.
Bye.
Love you, bye.
yeah. Thank you for staying around for all of our crazy,
Be sure to like, follow, and share with everyone you know,
even them whores you don't like.
and leave us a 5-star review.
We'll see you next time.
Bye, bitches.